All right, hello everyone. My name is Jenny Horton. I am the ACTC for the Kerrville testing site. We start testing April 14th, and we do not have a day to set up or train. So this is going to be an overview of our testing site, what to expect, and things like that. And of course, reach out to me with any questions. You can feel free to text or call my cell phone or email me. So our location is the Hill Country Youth Event Center, and there's the address. I will include a video, especially for the very short video of what doors to go in. Basically, you're going to enter the doors by the flagpole. There's a big tree there. Go in the double doors, and we will be set up right as you go in. To the right will be our sign in, sign out area. Straight ahead will be registration. We want our students signed in before they hit that registration table. All right, so sign in. Speaking of, let's see if I can get this. So for our students, there'll be a QR code on the door. We want the families to hopefully get signed in before they enter. Also, if we should have the staff that's manning the bathroom available to help with a QR code on a clipboard. It's just all, everyone needs to be ready and get those kids signed in. We should have almost 30 on each morning of that first week, and then in the afternoons, the first couple afternoons are almost 30 as well, so but then it lingers down. All right, so once we get them filled out, now if they are having a difficult time with the QR code, you have a phone, you can let them use your phone, you don't have to. We will have a computer or two set up in the hall to the right. That's why I'm saying they need to go to the right, even if they get the QR code completed before they enter, because at the right, that's going to be where they would have to turn in any cell phones. If we encourage them just to leave the cell phones with the parent or guardian. But if, we know a lot of high school kids, they can't part ways with it, but they will have to leave them there. We'll have the brown lunch bags that you'll have the student, or you write this, the Ginger or Cindy will write the student's name on the bag, or they can write their name on the bag, put the phone in the bag, and we'll have buckets. I need to make sure we'll have a bucket for AM and PM testers to keep them separate. Hopefully the bucket will be big enough. Anyway, make sure the students' phones are turned off before we collect them. We still don't want them ringing in the hallway. But anyway, that's where the computers will be to the right. If they are having a hard time filling out the form, they can sign in on the computer. And again, phones taken up at that point, at that place. Once the form is completed, the families will come to the registration table where Katie and one other staff member will be sitting. That's other staff member could be me if we don't get approved for, or if we don't get another contractor in time. Right now we have 2 contractors working on a third. But if, again, we don't have that contractor, it would be me at the table with Katie. I'm just trying to free myself up to take care of other things. That's the high hopes. All right, so then Katie or other staff member will verify that their information has been entered and that they have the phone number for contacting them with their student when their student is done. So basically it's going to be, when they fill out that form, it's a shared document, looks like an Excel doc. You just look up the student, make sure that information is there, and Cindy and Ginger will also have that shared doc when it comes to signing kids out. Hopefully this is all making sense. Makes sense to me in my head. A staff member will give them a colored wristband to put on. It is color-coded by their school. This is something new that Crystal has started that we have to do. I want you to highlight their name on the sign-in sheet. I'll have a printed out sign-in sheet each day and just highlight it in green that they've checked in. That way we can keep track of who is not there yet. And then give them their name tag and send them to the correct room. The registration table will be right in front of the 2 rooms. We have a small room and a large room. The small room is fairly large, so it probably could hold up to 15 to 20 kids. So. All right, so sign out for students. They do have to test for an hour or be in there for an hour testing. When students have finished their test, we're going to send them out to Ginger or Cindy, where they will, I don't know, I put Cynthia on. So anyway, send them out to that sign in, sign out area. they will text or call the person to pick up and highlight student in yellow on the attendance sheet. Return the phone to the student. They will sit in the hallway until their ride has arrived. We'll have chairs in there. They're not sitting on the floor or anything. And you, Cindy or Ginger, make sure they verify the person picking up is the correct person. Once the student is picked up, highlight their name in green. And that's going to be, when I go back up to that, the second bullet, highlight student in yellow, that's on that shared doc. Okay, and so then once they're picked up, we're going to highlight it in green to know that, hey, they've been picked up. If PM students start arriving and we still have students checking out, we need to make sure that we have them on separate sides of the hallway and making sure they're getting signed in. Could be a little chaotic if we've got students still signing in or signing out and students signing in. All right, let me finish. I'm going to go through this whole PowerPoint first, and then I'll share a Word document. All right, setting up and finishing up. So I'm going to the site on Sunday, April 13th, and I have Katie going with me, thank you, and my husband, which y'all know I did bribe, to get the room set up. We'll also, hopefully, we'll set the tables up in the hallway, and hopefully no one will move them before we get there Monday morning. Or we'll just have them to the side, and it'll be easy to set up that part on Monday if we have to. The main part is the rooms and the computers. I want them ready to go. I didn't want to stress out with us trying to run around and get 30 computers set up and ready to go. April 14th, make sure you get there at 7 that day. That is our first day. We all need to make sure we're there on time. We've got to make, hey, I want y'all, we need signs up to ensure rooms are ready. I'll have the blue tape and signs available. We've got to have signs on the outside of the testing doors, signs at registration, signs at sign in, sign out, lots of signs. And it says, please use spring staff schedule to know what you need to do and where you need to be. Right now, I've got it based on only 2 contractors, but if that third one comes in, that's going to change a little bit. So just know it's pretty solid, but could change. If you're working registration or sign in, sign out, you will need to bring your work computer, please. Everyone's more than welcome to bring your work computer, because when you're on break, you can get on your computer. As long as you're not in the testing room, you can get on your computer. Also, cell phones. I do not collect cell phones from staff members. You're adults, and make sure that if you're in a testing room, it is off. If you feel more comfortable leaving it with Katie or myself, that's fine. You could do that. All right, testing materials will be signed out by me in the small testing room for the AM sessions. PM will depend on what room is available. It could be the hallway if we have to. My goal is to get the kids combined to one room at 11, or 11:15 or so. So we're ready to go with at least the large room. So my goal would be to move them to the small room. After AM testing is done on the 23rd, all staff will help box up computers that we will not need the rest of the week. So the 23rd is Wednesday. So Thursday, I think we have 1 student scheduled already. Friday, we don't have anybody, but those are makeup days. So we will most likely have more students on the Thursday and hopefully none on Friday, but we'll see. All right, things to know. There will be a refrigerator that you can put items in. Not exactly sure where it will be, but I'll find out on that Sunday before testing. Okay, with the lunches and breaks, I'll go over that in more detail when I show the Word document. It's just hard to schedule specific times, not knowing when our testers are going to be done and when the lull is for registration. So basically they'll be given when there is downtime. Please, and I'm going to share that document with the relief rules and the instructions document. Proctors in testing rooms can give each other breaks when able. For example, if I've got an IA with a proctor and in that same room, because the IA that we have does not have to have her own room, but in that same room I have a small group of 5 with a proctor. We cannot no, both proctors would have to stay in the room until the IA is finished or the small group is finished. But we will send people in to relieve you and give you breaks. All right, Cindy and Ginger will give breaks when there are no students registering and checking out. So there'll be a time period where hopefully get them all in and registered by 8:30, 8:45. Get the testing started, and I'll go over more details with that Word document. Feel free to have food and drinks with you in your area, and even in the testing rooms. We need to take care of our needs. And if you're in a testing room and you need a break and no one's come in, then we'll have that sign that you put out the door, or just pop your head out there, yell at Katie or myself. Don't yell too loud, but to let us know that you need a break. All right, so test administrator responsibilities. I'm attaching this document, so I'm not going to read this to you because this has been given out in probably the other trainings that you've done. But if you need more familiarity with it, just go ahead and read through it and just make sure you're comfortable with being a test administrator in a testing room. All right, materials. So you'll have an administrator manual, seating chart. Now, so seating chart, that should be plural, because especially even in the small group rooms, you could have 3 or 4 schools. So you'll have, each school has to have their own seating chart. And each, like if it's a 5 group with TIVA and a 12 and under group with TIVA, separate seating charts. So it could be lots of seating charts. You just need to make sure that you're keeping them straight. Now their test tickets or little cards that I've made or put together will be color coded. Of course, there's no purple index cards, so TIVA is pink until I ran out of pink, and so they're pink and yellow. And I'm trying to coordinate it where the day is either yellow or pink for TIVA. So that'll help out with color coding, and I've made the seating, hopefully they're printing them, and I get them in the mail soon, but I had them print the seating charts in colored paper as well to keep those straight by school. You'll have a first hour checklist. You'll need to make sure that as the test administrator, you get that filled out. The printed student test tickets, again, those are on the index cards. Scratch paper and pencils for each student. I know it says that a lot of them are upon request except for math. I just assume we just put it out for everybody. That way it's there if they need it, and they don't have to, raise their hand to ask for it. Headphones and microphones with students with speech to text. The computers come with one for each one, so we'll just put them out for all. Headphones, microphones, not necessary for students with text to speech, but the same thing. All right, we'll have the do not disturb testing sign, no phone signs. And we do have some students with supplemental aids. I think there was 53 sheets printed. So it's real important on those because the kids that have those will have a student. No, that was a student accommodation page, but so we don't have that many supplemental aids, but the students will have a student accommodation page. And it's really important that as a proctor that you put a note on there if they didn't use it. I mean, I hope they look at that when they get these papers back, but if they're not using them, they're just a waste of sitting there, then we need to let them know. All right, active monitoring. I'm not going to read this. Again, that's been in every training in my contractors. You'll see it in Crystal's training. But I am the go-to person if there is a concern. So I will mostly be close to the registration table or taking care of my needs. So but you should be able to find me in the sign in, sign out, or registration area in the hallways. So, unless I'm getting test tickets signed out. All right, so new, and I know tell my K-12 staff you've seen this, but for my contractors, I don't know if they shared this with you in a training, but there are different ways to pull reports in Test Town. This is what I'm doing. The seating chart is on the material control form. So when I give you the test tickets, you're just going to check a box, or I'll check the box that I've given them to you, and then I'll check the box when you turn them in, and then you'll have to sign here, and I'll sign when they come back. But this the little grid there is your seating chart by number. Notice the students are numbered. They're also listed, this is TIVA, but then this was from TELPAS, so it has the different grade level and what tests they're taking. So that's why they're separated like that. It has information for you to make sure you're filling out, whether they were there, absent, and then make sure you are recording the start and stop times. Okay, I'll make sure I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, multiple documents, so you could have multiple seating. You will most likely have multiple seating charts unless you're giving the test to the IA student. All right, so we'll be there to help and support you. And I will have a K-12 staff member in the testing room. My goal is just to have a K-12 and a contractor in the testing room. So there will be a K-12 staff member at all times in the testing room. And this is what the student accommodation form looks like. Now, if they could have, if they're taking 3 tests, note that all 3 tests are going to be listed there. And you'll have to make sure that you are signing and dating with the test they're taking. You do need to go over it with the student. Just let them know what they have. This was a simple one, small group administration, but some have multiple things listed. Just go over it with them. They'll initial next to each one, and then you sign and date it. Again, if this student had 3 tests, you'd see 3 sections on here with the things listed that they get for that test. That's it. All right, here's what the student test tickets look like. So it'll be on a index card. All this does is give them their login information. It does not have the testing session ID. I will be putting a sticker. These are stickers. I put them all on index cards. This is the student access card, and the session ID will also be on a label that I'll stick on the same card. So these students aren't having to figure out which, because a lot of the sites are just putting it up on the board and there's multiple session IDs and it's confusing for the students, I think. So it'll be on their card. I'll make sure that gets done. All right, so make sure that you are giving that student the correct card. Our little ones may not speak up, but they've got their name tag on, they've got a wristband on. So if it's a green wristband and the student access card says LSOA, that is not theirs. That student's going to have a blue wristband. And again, their name tag or label should be on their front of their shirt, and that will have their information. Trying to make sure we don't end up giving students the wrong test, because that does happen. Never happened to me, knock on wood. All right, so when they're done testing, you will need to collect this card. They cannot take it with them. It's not a souvenir. We have to keep it. And make sure you just keep it with a seating chart until all students are completed. When they're finished, just have them raise their hands so you can verify that it gets submitted. Now, we will, of course, have students that just submit, especially our older ones. It's okay, as long as you're seeing that the test is completed. Should go back to the login screen. All right, so after testing, students can leave the room. They must spend an hour. Make sure they've completed the seating chart for their time. Again, get their test ticket with this session ID. And please keep the cards of the kids that aren't there separate, because I'll have to pull them for the day they get rescheduled. Collect any scratch paper. Unless they didn't write on it, then it can just stay at the computer. Collect any graphic organizers or supplemental aids. And then please make note on student accommodation page as needed. When all testing is done, you'll return, you'll come to me with the testing bucket So sorry, and they'll get you signed out. All right, y'all, it is all about teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. So let me just share one more thing real quick. So this is also attached. No, my K-12 people, you already got it once, but there is a section. This is the first part of the document talks about proctor roles instructions. The second part is the non-proctor roles and reminders. So this is just a little bit more information in writing about the registration check-in, late arrivals. So didn't really go over that in the PowerPoint, but make sure you welcome the families, ask them to scan the QR code, make sure the students are accompanied by legal guardians or have the appropriate form. Yeah, that I didn't go over either. So there's an alternate drop-off, pickup, or student driver form. Some of those students, 16, 17-year-olds, can drive themselves, 18. So they may have actually the 18-year-olds don't have to have a student driver form, but the 16, 17-year-olds do. Are we going to turn them away if they don't have it? No, but I'm going to email the guardian and ask them to send it to me. If they're there, we're testing them. Alternate drop-off would be if it's not the parent or guardian. If it's a sibling, it's really, I mean, it's fine. But whoever's bringing them, it's basically if, the next door neighbor brings them, they need to have an alternate drop-off. And then just make sure that I send the email out about electronic devices, not allowed. But again, some of them will want to have them there, and we're okay with it. Just don't, try to encourage them to leave it with the person dropping them off. If not, we got the bags and stuff. Okay. And then checkout. Yeah. This is more specific for my people working checkout, Cindy and Ginger. So there's a whole pre-worded text message. That you could and that's what I usually did, was just copy and paste when I was doing, and I used Google Voice on my computer, just because it's easier. So decide, I guess, how you would like to do that, since y'all will be working on that. Just make sure you're monitoring the text messages. If you don't receive a response within 10 minutes, call the family. If it's been more than 30, you need to reach out to me, or if we have access to other phone numbers through attendance, we need to find those and see who else we are going to get there to pick that child up. All right, this I've already gone over. Number 4. All right, restroom procedures, one at a time, and I will have a staff member in front of the restroom, a staff member in the hallway. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on the students one at a time, and they'll have to wait in the hallway if there's somebody in there. If there's other adults, this is a public place, so there could be other adults. There will be adults in and out of that bathroom. So you can see if the student can wait. Just if not, it's okay. Just make sure you or where the student is in there with another adult, and make sure they come out. Hallway procedures. They can families cannot go past the registration area, testing rooms, etc. Okay, I will be pretty much in the hallway, but if there are issues, please notify me. And then the emergency plan, I'm not going to read through all that. All right, relief roles I wanted to go over because it is important that y'all know what to do as far as giving our people that are testing, our proctors, a relief. So this is basically Cindy and Ginger. You're going to be working that sign in, sign out. Hopefully everyone's signed in, out, or signed in by 8:45. You're going to take a break, and then from 9 to 11:15 offer breaks to proctors first, and then if they don't want one at 9, just check again, 9:30, etc. 11:30, be ready to welcome our families again. Actually, yeah, 11:30. I think it says 11:45, but just be ready at 11:30 students coming in. And the 11:15, you know, it depends on how quick the students are finishing, and how many students we have waiting. So that could just be 9 to 10:30. We'll see. These are flexible times, not set in stone. All right, so then take another break, Cindy and Ginger, and then we'll have dismissal. And we've got also people that have to have breaks, or the bathroom and hall monitors. So, and of course, Katie. We'll take care of each other. That's our goal. The first day, it's important that everyone's there by 7. Tuesday's also a larger day, so 7 would be my preference. And then 7:15 the Wednesday, Thursdays. So dress appropriately. Jeans are acceptable, and school t-shirts are acceptable. That's what I'll be wearing. So just make sure you're comfortable, and then make sure you bring your snacks, lunch, and drinks, and a drink or drinks. All right, y'all reach out to me if you have any questions. I know this is a lot. I didn't expect it to go this long, but hopefully you got something out of this, and I will see y'all on the 14th.